capitalizing on that early stun, the damage output. They have the control and getting a good block. Great early start for JG, faster bottle, very important in the Storm match. He does lose quite a lot of HP, but he is going to be able to recover that just by hanging around, getting some blocks off anyway. So UDV off to a stronger start than you'd want them to, if you're Talon, but Talon should be fine. I don't think it's going to be the biggest. The lane matchup still going to be something to watch out for. Storm versus QOP, and that did force... Oh, actually, JG didn't have to level at all. So he does have this choice now to make between the Shadow Strike and Scream. Up against the Storm, Shadow Strike tends to be the best way to harass him out. Scream of Pain does sort of put you in the proximity of the Storm's right-click damage, and a Static Remnant can come out. So we'll see what he does opt for. But again, for the QOP, this is a much stronger lane. You can play harass, you can opt for a 3-0-2 build, and if you do go that route, it becomes pretty painful for the Storm. He doesn't have the best regen, he's going to need to bottle, he's really going to need rune control, and you can see JG already getting through some good harassment, and he does go for that Shadow Strike, so Mikado is going to have a pretty rough first 3 levels here.
Very upsetting though for JG, Jonathan. No Arcana for the Queen of Pain, which makes me very, very sad. We'll have a look at the other lanes. Of course, top lane, Ken's going to be there on the Terrorblade against Hyde and KP, and he will be supported by Teehee. Now, I'm still not very sure about this Skywrath Mage, John. I mean, I realize it should be a lane-dominant kind of hero, but you'd look at Ken right now, already struggling on the Terrorblade. And even with the Skywrath, it feels like if you get caught with a Cinderbrew Bushwhack, you probably are just going to die. It's just way too squishy of a hero, this Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, he's got to really maintain his spacing. Hyde can trade hits favorably. The one thing you do have for UDV here is by maybe level 2, level 3, once you have like level 1 or at least level 1 or maybe level 2 Metamorphosis, your slow potential with Reflection plus the concussive shot can harass people out. They are already starting a bit with Ken popping the meta, but tree line save from Hyde does cut that off.
Oh boy, mid lane, JG ends up going down. We completely miss how that happened, but Makoto able to find a solo pickoff on the Storm at level 3. I suppose level 3 is around the timing where it does happen, but that's a pretty concerning sign already here for UDV, dropping that QOP.
Yeah, that's not something you expect. Mikado still goes for the Vortex at level 3, so that early Storm Spike is there, but theoretically a Storm shouldn't be able to gap close, right? Like, you should just be able to stand back on the Queen of Pain, just constantly Shadow Strike, use your Scream of Pain to clear out wave. Giving an opening like that to Mikado is pretty scary. He is still behind in CS. JG's still controlling the lane well, but that does mean the double null's not going to be too far off. Rune control is going to be easier, and with level advantage, Mikado's damage output is a lot stronger now to trade.
What is that sticker down a bot lane, John? What is that? What is that?
That's a beautiful heart. I know what you're talking about, Mike. It's a beautiful picture. I'm not sure if that's... I want to say that's Luzavia Teehee, but my memory is very faded there, Mike. But it's a beautiful picture.
Very funny, John. Very funny. You're going to go with the memes that have been going on in the chat, huh? Mid lane, JG. Wait for a pause first, John. Then you can bring up the faded jokes, all right?
Didn't even mean to, but still, looking at that bot lane, Mike, and then the last thing we have talked about with a beautiful sticker. Savage on the Medusa, Q on the Grimstroke. Not too much aggression you can really pull out here for the side of Talon, UDV. They could try to play aggressive. They do have double stun, but they're double melee against Medusa. So every time you show up, every time you run up in lane, Mystic Snake flies out. You can just hit through. You've got lots of EHP with a Man Shield even at level 1. And Q can always Inkswell when you do run in to do damage. So it's not the easiest time for UDV to be aggressive as well. And a slower lane is always advantageous for Medusa. You just farm up. You hit your early farming spikes. No pressure. You just keep playing the game as Medusa would. Just farm.
Yeah, we saw Lucify. He was rotating over to... Well, actually, Rupido is going to try and get aggressive now, but Savage does have the mana short if he does need it. You saw Lucify rotating mid lane to try and snag Makoto heroes. They are doing a lot of damage already. In fact, Teehee now going to show up. Makoto is going to Fairy Fire and should be able to survive. There'll be no Earthshaker to come in from the side either to take him down with the Fissure. Makoto barely able to get away with his life intact. But I've got to say, it's quite a lot of commitment here from UDV to make that happen. 3 heroes in the mid lane just to force Makoto out of there, and they don't even find the kill.
They don't find a kill. They don't find a water rune for JG either. The supports of Talon managing to cut that off. So good response from Talon, preventing JG from just having the comfiest time in controlling regen. But that shove away for the Storm is pretty big. That's giving JG the CS lead now. He's managing to farm up. The level gap is closing in. He does have his level 5 as well, so the blink is up. Harder to make a move in the QOP. And that's all good news. You want your momentum to come off of this Queen of Pain and the DK once he has a blink up. And at least one of those heroes has to have a strong laning start.
Ken's in trouble now. KP gonna go for a bit of a chase as Ken's gonna pump the meta.
No.
Oh, Ken, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, he'll have a laugh about it, John, but I have a feeling he's not too happy.
Yeah, I get why. I mean, he sees Hyde very low. He figures might as well trade to get something out of this stat. Doesn't pay off. He's going to be heading back to lane with a 2-minute cooldown in meta. That's going to give KP an opening to just keep farming up. And it's just down to having Sky as support with TV. Again, there is play potential with Reflection and the Concussive, but you're dealing with a Brewmaster. Hyde is just hiding the tree line as a hoodwink. He's not going to show up to get hit by that. So the one here you can be aggressive on is too tanky for your burst damage to deal with either. And I think that just takes away the aggression that the Skywrath Mage does offer in lane.
Yeah. You see bot lane Rupido trying to get aggressive there onto Savage, but again, there's just so much you can do as a DK against a Medusa. You do some damage, but Savage doesn't really feel too afraid anyway. Just turn on the mana shield and just walk away. He'll be just fine. I'm going to give the DK some prompts. Rupido CSing very nicely and is starting to take over this bot lane. The Savage is going to get stunned up and does go down. Oh, he played right on the edge there, Savage. And just as I say that Rupido can't do anything, he gets the kill.
And that's pretty massive. Rupido hits level 6 off the back of it, has the dragon form ready, can look to shove a wave down bot to pressure tower or rotate onto mid and start looking for that mid tier 1 faster. Lots of options now for UDV, and of course that does help accelerate the blink timing just a little bit more. So the key stuff for UDV are starting to build up. Their mid, their offlane are holding up really well. I think Talon's got to be a bit cautious about the 15-minute mark is looking to be pretty good for UDV if they maintain this pace. You do still have to worry about Mikado. He's farming a little bit too much in that storm with a double null up.
Oh, JG. No, the Bushwhack's not going to make it.
Dire's middle tower.
Very, very close there. They just could not get in range in time there for Hyde to get the Bushwhack to connect. Instead, though, they are going to get quite a bit of damage off onto this mid-tier 1 tower. And already you see the supports of UDV rotating down to try and make sure this remains defended. They'll do a good job of it. And the rest of Talon, they're just going to be happy to split up and go to the side lanes instead and maybe try to set something up there. For now, though, very slight net worth lead for UDV, just about 1k their way. So all things being said and done, John, a pretty close game so far.
Yeah, I think a lot closer than you expect coming out. UDV has managed to play their lanes well. Down middle, Lucify.
To jump in, Lucify will drop quite low, and Makoto's going to go back for it, but this could cost him his own life. JG going to go for the kill, should be able to get it, unless Hyde can get a nice deny off. He's going to try and he's got it. Oh, JG, he hesitated. He hesitated to go for the final right click, and eventually Hyde will get the deny off.
And they went a little greedy with the build-up here. The skill build-up on JG as well. He skips the Sonic Wave, goes for the 2-1-3 build to farm up and do a little bit more prolonged damage in teamfight. Hyde gets a good deny off here.
Yeah, it's going to cost him his life perhaps, though. He's going to try and go for a bit of a run. Scurry on cooldown though. Hyde. Oh, that's a great deny. Savage. Oh, now Savage shows up to deny Hyde off. Everyone's just taking turns now, John.
Yep. That's something I really miss. You know, there are only so many deny opportunities now. Just only Shadow Strike and Doom gives you that opportunity. I miss denying, Mike. I miss self-denying. Good to see Talon on point with a movement around the map to get that done. Savage dipping out the jungle to go back in, help his team out by taking that kill himself. Still, space is made here for UDV, Mike. Rupido shoving in the bot lane quite nicely. Bot tier 1 tower down to 280 HP. Not much Q can do. They are TPing in though.
Now I'm going to try and defend this. Hyde is there with the Bushwhack to set up, and that'll be Lucify. He will drop immediately. So nice sort of pick up onto the Earthshaker. UDV, I'm sure they're still pretty happy with the way this game's going right now. There is no way to defend that bot tier 1. Eventually, Rupido will be able to move in and just take it for himself. But I suppose as Talon, they're just trying to delay the game and get as much as they possibly can right now. You are just setting up for a bit of a defensive kind of mid-game here. Just buy space for Savage is the idea, I'm sure.
Just wait for Medusa to hit its big item spikes, build up. The Terrorblade, it can keep up in farm to an extent, especially using those Conjure image illusions to clear out the map, but Medusa does flash farm a lot faster, and you do still have that security with your mid-tier 1 standing. UDV's mid-tier 1 is the one that's under a little bit more pressure with its HP down to at least 1.1, so you have a little bit of room here for Talon to kind of eye that mid down the line. They do have good stacks here though. JG is getting a lot of good catch-up farm, does have the Fairy Trinket ready to go as well in the neutrals. So he's kind of set to go. Sonic Wave up, max level Scream of Pain. They could play off the back of this, even without the blink on DK, and start looking for some softer targets to take out.
I mean, they could. It does feel like UDV need to start moving rather soon. You've got a DD rune now available on JG, so perhaps it's around that time to get moving as a unit. I suppose they're quite happy though. I mean, considering Ken is still freely farming in his second in net worth, only second to his own Dragon Knight. It's still happy days here for UDV. Still a great start for game 1. Talon are going to try and set up now for the top tier 1 tower. JG though is going to show up and KP will be targeted. He does have that primal split though. We'll pop it immediately as JG will be able to just blink away. Instead they'll look around the tree line and Teehee, he is around there, but he's doing a decent job of finding a nice little hiding spot. Problem is it just won't last. Hide with the acorn shot. He'll get the vision for the team. And they'll at least find a Skywrath Mage, though JG's going to move back in with a Sonic Wave. He'll find a kill. Pretty positive trade there for UDV and a bit of a loss for Talon.
They're having some issues locking in something like the QOP. I think a lot of pressure there on Mikado Kit to get the jump through, or a really good bushwhack from Fog. And with all that space given from this movement top, Rupido rotates mid, along with a Metamorphosis from Ken, getting that push in onto the mid-tier 1. This is a tower Talon can't afford to lose. Will cut into Savage's farm. Great objective for UDV to take. Looks like they'll take it for pretty much for free here.
Radiant's middle tower.
They will. Little tier 1 mid taken by UDV. Again, off to a great start for game 1. It's not the highest net worth lead in the world, but they are finding the objectives they need, and so far so good with this draft. I just wonder whether Talon are really concerned about this. Like, they haven't really reacted at all to these tier 1s going down. Again, they seem more than happy with the fact that Savage is just farming Triangle right now. I suppose this is what you want with the Medusa anyway. But I mean, if UDV, if they can get a pace going, if they can set the tempo to a higher kind of pace, maybe Talon could find themselves in trouble.
They're about to hit that pace on UDV, Mike. The blink is up for Rupido, flying out now. They're still waiting for level 6 on Teehee to really get that Mystic Flare combination, but it does feel like you don't quite need it. You have enough damage output on JG if he does show up for these fights. That Dragon Tail stun to set up makes it easy to clean up for the QOP. So Talon's got to be a bit careful about losing too much map control. There's some good aggressive wards from UDV as well, watching that bot jungle on the side of Talon. Their pushing pace isn't that fast. Even if they can get some room open, we saw some aggression mid earlier, but they don't take it out fast enough, and that's giving a lot of room for UDV to just work the map a lot faster. I mean, they have a pretty greedy off lane. You know, KP's just trying to work onto the Ags. Not until that Ags point does the Brew really feel like it's going to be massive in these fights. So there's a lot more time for Talon to wait. They are really close to Mikado's Kaya timing though. They are starting to clump up top to clear out that top tier 1. Looks like UDV's more than satisfied to give that away, considering that mid and bot already fell. So there's a little bit more safety for Savage playing in the top jungle, playing in the triangle, and just farming up. But they have to still be concerned, because again, UDV has mobility with a pop. They've got the blink. They will have level 6 on Teehee soon. And that's the point when you can really expect UDV to just start going for the smoke plays consistently and start looking for those pickoffs.
On mid lane, 3-man smoke up. Where do they head though? Gonna be a counter smoke here from UDV. Run right through the mid lane. Is where the line was drawn by UDV, so kind of running towards the right direction of the 3-man smoke here from Talon Esports. But they are heading down towards the bot lane though. Nobody really around apart from Ken, and Ken isn't really showing himself either. Instead, pings are back out to the mid lane. UDV have used Lucifer as bait here, as they are going to try and take the bait. Talon, even finding an arcane rune, this could be a very nice setup. As Rupido, he'll blink away. Teehee though will be targeted with the vortex out. He is not going to survive. In fact, now Rupido, he's in danger. Already slowed up with the sharpshooter out. They've got plenty of damage and they'll get him. KP even taking the kill with the primal split as he looks for a bit more, but he won't be able to find that Earthshaker. Nevertheless, it's a 2-for-0 trade and a T1 mid tower to drop the Talon.
Big one. They get the Cyclone up. That's it.
Kodo in. They've got the QOP. GG, not going to get Vortex. A very nice Fisher, but now the pushback is there from behind. Lucifer, he'll pop the Echo Slam, but it does no damage. Instead, Makoto almost dropping, but not quite. As now JG's back in trouble. He blinked back in and trying to kill the kill, but Makoto's still not dying. Oh, the Storm's out of there. In the meantime, they even found Teehee, as they are still trying to find out where Makoto's gone. Lucifer. He's going to pick up, but Q is right behind him. Instead, they will turn around onto Q and get the Grimstroke. In fact, they even can't hide on the Hoodwink, at least for now. The Hyde is going to run into the tree line with the T2 tower. No, actually misses. I guess with the Scurry. Why the hell not?
Ooh. And he drops the Hoodwink sticker as well. Good movement out. I think UDV had a right idea. They just overextended. Didn't expect that follow through from KP Cyclone, but that is a Storm. He had the Arcane Rune running. He has double null. He has the Kaya up. He has a lot of reach. So Mikado's really playing that aggressor now. He's playing the Space Maker sort of role while KP and Savage really just farm up, and he's doing a great job. But UDV, again, they still have this window. We haven't seen the combination go off yet. We need to see that Dragon Tail, Mystic Flare, and Rupido and Teehee will try once more with smoke here.
Yeah, but bot lane, KP, in danger. No primal split available. They were trying to do the same thing top lane here by Talon, but it looks like they are going to miss out as KP, he'll get jumped now in a very dangerous position. He doesn't have a TP either, so there's really no way out of this. The Mystic Flare was dropped and KP will go down. So a nice pickup from UDV now. Talon, again, they were trying the exact same thing on the opposite side lane, but seems like Lucifer, he was well aware of it, and he just sits back by the T2 tower.
That's a big kill. You're delaying KP's Zags. You are kind of holding back Talon from playing that bot lane. Of course, I think you're pretty happy on Talon that it's not Savage that gets hit by the combination and all.
Yeah, I mean, never mind. Lucifer eventually going to get caught. Makoto just kind of losing his patience there and does go past the T2 tower. They are going to try and trade T2s now, it seems, though Teehee is going to show up in preparation for the defense, but Makoto, he might go for a zip in. JG, he'll be around as well. Hyde, he's going to go have a look around in the tree line to see if he can find anyone, and he's going to find JG, but he is kind of surrounded now. Instead, though, Makoto will jump in with the Inkswell onto Teehee, and that should at least be the Skywrath Mage, but can they do something about JG? Well, not quite. Makoto, he'll just TP out and hide. He'll run the old-fashioned way. Though JG's still going to chase him down. You've got another bushwhack, but no, it won't matter. In fact, Rupido even going to show up on the Dragon Knight, and that'll be a double. So not really too bad at all for UDV.
It's 2 supports for 2 supports. Does feel a little bit better for Talon, giving the kills onto Mikado in comparison, but you do split the gold rather nicely amongst the big cores here for UDV. And they are starting to, you know, still find some good trades, keep the game rather even. 12-7, 1k lead stands for Talon, not the biggest. You're still trying to build up on your Medusa. At the same time, your Terrorblade is getting a lot of space here for UDV. Ken does have the Manta up, is up from Cascadio.
JD, he just blinked in. Makoto, he knew it as well. They had the vision. That's a big pick off there for Talon Esports now. Like you mentioned, John, Ags up on KP. This is where things get very scary for UDV.
Yeah, I'm really curious about Ken's build. Like, I get the Mantis necessary. The Scotty's really good. Going to be necessary to outrange and really kite down Medusa a bit more. It does feel like a BKB is going to be necessary, though. Once KP pops the split, if he does get the Storm Cyclone onto the proper Terrorblade, we've seen that happen to Savage as well. You know, when he's had to deal with the Brewmaster on the enemy side, he's just flying in the air. And that's going to be a consistent issue for the Terrorblade this game without that early BKB. Ken's got to be a little bit cautious if he does show up to the engagement. Still, UDV playing really aggressive, standing on the opposite side of the river. Got a lot of damage here.
Yeah, Makoto, he's a big target. He'll be by the creep wave, so it could be a little bit hard with the Mystic Flare, or maybe not. It's a lot of damage into the Echo Slam. Lucifer gets it done. They should be able to punish at least the Earthshaker, but it's only KP right now actually going for the chase. Lucifer still dropping. Eventually might just go down, but it's still going to be a very worthwhile trade out as they do get the kill onto Makoto.
Yeah, and that's the target you really want to go for with your Dragon Tail stun combination. Great use of the blink reveal on Lucify as well. So the blink slam is there. Talon getting caught off guard. I think they were much more confident if the slam wasn't there. There was still window for Mikoto to zip away. Earthshaker ensured that wouldn't happen. They're still hanging around mid though.
Nice bushwhack. They did catch Rupido with that, but they just don't make the dive in for it. Just not really having the damage available right now for the Dragon Knight.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
You look back at Savage though, John. I have Skadi almost up down the Medusa. Again, times are getting scarier and scarier for UDV. Eventually this Deuce is going to be ready to move in. Savage almost already level 18 to make matters even worse. Ken just not really able to keep up quite as fast. It's a very kind of conservative game so far, this game number 1, as you'd expect by both position ones that have been picked up, but I think Ken needs a pretty decent lead to actually contest the Medusa late game.
Yeah, it does feel like it's, with the Terrorblade versus Medusa matchup, it's about having an item advantage. When it's even, I think the Terrorblade still has a window, but you have to play with Metamorphosis timing. That's a lot harder because of the cooldown. And the uptime of that spell is just not great. KP in the middle.
He's going to show up. Keep in mind, he does have Primal Split available, so it's kind of hard to make the jump in. And sure, you've got the max Ancient Seal on Teehee to lock him down, I guess. Because he does have help right around it. It's top lane again. They're going to try and focus that top tier 2 tower. JG already around the Queen of Pain to try and defend this as best as humanly possible.
Top tower is under attack.
So Savage, he'll take the front lines in the Medusa. We've seen this many times. Just with the Dragon Lance, he can just kind of outrange the tower. And eventually, it will just go away. So it seems like UDV, they'll try and trade with the bottom tier 2 tower. But I'd say with the Dragon Knight on your team, you don't really want to be directly trading against the Medusa of all things.
No, this is a bigger tower to take for Talon. Opens up Roshan a lot better. Bot tier 2 and the bot outpost just isn't as big. It does secure safe farming here for Teehee. For Ken, sorry, and it allows him to build up on that Terrorblade. Scotty not too far off for him now as well. Still a major concern with the Cyclone coming in from KP, and as mentioned, Roshan's open. Talon have control of the top outpost, much bigger objective, and allows them to safely clear out Roshan. They've got the wards to protect as well.
Yeah, that they do. Roshan gonna go down for free, it seems like, as UDV just seemingly have no idea this is happening, and that's a concerning sign for UDV. Just not in position to try and contest. They could still potentially make it in time to scout this out, but I highly doubt they get there in time to actually contest Roshan. And so free Aegis to go the way of Savage. Or maybe even Mikoto takes it, but no, they want the Medusa to have it. Fair enough. I think it's around that time with Talon, they'll just start going for objectives now.
They're kind of set. They could shove in mid. Could be the next big objective for them to take. Really clear out that top jungle, lock in their control. KP is playing forward here. Still working onto that Aeon Disc. Down bot, and JG still clearing out the creep wave. But look at Talon's position here. In a much more aggressive spot. Sure, there's some pressure onto their tier 3. Not enough to drag them back. I think that's what's allowing them to really just lock in the side of the map more. They will send Savage home to keep farming up. I think they're more than happy to just have this farm war between Medusa and TV. The rest of the team will smoke up though.
They will.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Look on smoke situation once again. 3v3 here is UDV going to head up towards the top side. They might find Mikoto, and that's a great pick-off if they can get it. Storm, very valuable right now. Rupido, he just needs to make the jump in and does land a stun into the Mystic Flare, and it's going to be a nice, easy pick-off. UDV able to find some very valuable picks here this game so far. They are still quite far behind, I'd say, and you really haven't dealt with Savage at all.
No, the big issue still lies on Medusa. Even with all the deaths, Mikoto is still number 3 in network above GG, and that's a little bit style.
Oh, here we go. They've got Ken. Sharpshooter's there. It's a lot of damage. Ken, he needs some help right now, but he just perma-stunned. They just couldn't help him. Teehee, he'll get bushwhacked as well. Hide with another great setup. And eventually Teehee, he'll pop the Ghost Scepter, he'll walk away. But it does seem like Talon, they don't care about the Skywrath anyway. Well, apart from KP, that is. They'll go after the tier 2 mid tower, and they'll eventually be able to get it no issues.
That's a big tower to take. Opens up the top jungle a lot more in comparison to that bot tier 2 falling. Mid-tier 2 still stands for Talon as well. Triangle's open for them to just constantly invade, and now you're starting to feel a bit locked in if you're UDV. They had this good early timing with a Blink Dragon Tail and Mystic Flare combination, with Blink Echo Slam combination, but it doesn't feel like they've done enough, and here's they have to shut down.
Not safe for Rupido. Not safe at all. He went in to clear the mid-creep wave, but he is going to end up paying with his life. In fact, they found another. They've got T here on the Skywrath. He's going to go Scepter up, but I don't think it matters this time around. They'll run, but eventually Savage will have their way with them. A double kill out, and that'll be the tier 3 tower under siege now. But they are lacking some creeps, but they are on the way. It won't take too long here for Talon. What do you do if you UDV? Feels like you've got to try and fight.
Yeah, they've got pretty good high ground defense for the slam. Lots of pressure on Lucify, but he has been landing some good control in some of these engagements. So high ground defense is still pretty sharp. Talon not going to risk it, respecting that control from UDV and the fact that respawns are still fairly short. Instead, back to farm. Still 2 minutes left on that Aegis here, Mike. They can clear out the bot tier 1 first. Really start to just hammer in that map control. And for UDV, I think this all hinges on a big smoke play. They've got to go for that same play, Blink Dragon Tail, and try to kill off Mikado, but they need a bigger team fight to come off from that. Because every single time they find Mikado, the rest of the team is so far back that you don't find anything else, even with that hero advantage. And you've got to make use of that hero. You've got to be able to translate that into a kill on Medusa, or at least pressure on Medusa into control on KP, and start finding these other heroes as well. Because, again, even if you're killing Mikado off, he's still number 3 in net worth. He's still finding farm. His kills have still helped him maintain this position where the Storm is still really strong, despite maybe lacking some itemization. He's got the BKB up now on Mikado, so that same combo is going to be harder to pull off now. With the stat resist he has from Sanj, he has a window to pop BKB and live.
But gonna get something up again. I mean, as you say it, John. Yeah, never mind, John. He just gets stunned and he just didn't see them. They were within the fog. Very unfortunate once again for the Storm, but very aggressive positioning from Mikado. He does end up paying for it. UDV again, John. They are still fighting back.
Yeah. They have to find more. So Mikado's down. Gotta keep hunting. They are keeping that aggression up here.
Yeah, they might find Q. He does back off at the right time as Rupido does show himself on the creep wave. Instead, though, down at bot lane, JG. He's got a tier 3 tower going down right now. Savage and Hyde are going to show up, but they miss out on JG. He knows they can't lock him down, so he'll just blink away. Sharpshooter out even. He's going to land a very nice one onto the Shaker, but it's not slowing him down enough to take him out, so Lucifer is going to be just fine. And Talon get absolutely nothing.
Aegis expires as well. UDV's done a great job of just stalling out that second life on Savage. They could start to make moves onto Medusa next, JG.
Yeah, could be in danger, but he'll just blink away once again. Does get his neutral item as well, so he doesn't miss out on that. Bit of a, again, very awkward scenario for Talon, John. I mean, they get nothing with the 8. Never mind, Lucifer is going to drop on top side. Q going to be in danger as he does go down, so 1-for-1 trade on the supports. What I was going to say though, Jonathan, is I thought they would get some usage out of that Aegis, but they just never got away with it.
They did get at least, you know, that mid-tier 2 and kind of open up the map. There are no high ground siege beyond a couple of pokes, and that is very good news for UDV. Game is still relatively even as well. 2k lead up for Talon. A lot of that riding on Savage. The rest of the cores of Talon this time around have been sacrificed to enable that Medusa. Mikado is starting to lag a little bit behind JG in comparison. KP behind Rupido as well. The Aeon Disc is almost done, so you will have protection up for KP. Next time around, going to be harder to burst down the Brewmaster, and he should be able to get off the splits every single time. I think for the side of UDV, they have to be a little bit concerned about the gold output that Q is getting for himself. He is going to have the Ags. That Dark Portrait on something like Terrorblade or DK in Dragon form is going to be pretty scary. And that's not going to be the hardest thing for Q to find in these fights. So, you still have some tools coming out from Talon. And for UDV, they're in a good spot, but they have to maintain that aggression. Like, they've got a window again. Again, they don't. Aegis is down. They can play with Dragon Tail, isolate Savage, and Ultra him fast. And they need to translate those kills on Mikado, because every single time it's just one hero you find, the rest of Talon will just sit back, farm, catch up, build up the Medusa. And that's just not enough to suppress the side of Talon fully here.
Got the Dark Portrait now on Q, John. So you've got a nice way of kind of taking the TB for yourself. Be very scary for UDV if they do get that Metamorphosis Terrorblade image away. Just so much more damage with that Dark Portrait. Both teams very cautious here. Not trying to move in anytime soon. Again, it's been a very conservative game between these two teams. But I can't even remember the last time we saw a massive team fight. Feels like every fight we've seen so far has been very, very split from either side. Neither side really satisfied with the 5v5, but maybe now we get it. UDV, 5-man smoke right through the mid lane. They see Savage. It'd be a great target if they can take him down fast enough, as they drop the Echo. They've dropped everything. Sonic Wave out as well. Savage, he's still alive. He's going to back out of there, but he might just drop it top and back. Never mind. The Stone Gaze is out. It's so much damage from the Medusa, and now back in goes Makoto. They wiped them out. They at least find Savage in the end, thanks to JG. But it's a 4-for-1 trade and a complete mess for UDV.
That was insane. That was a sick 4-staff out from Hyde to move Savage away from the Mystic Flare, buying enough time for that counter initiation. And this is kind of where some of the issues of TV versus Medusa pops in. You have BKB on TV to protect yourself from the Brewmaster split, but you have to face Medusa to hit her. And when Stone Gaze is up, BKB doesn't save you from that. So in a prolonged fight, in some of those tight windows, it can be tough for TV to actually kill her off.
The Shaker, Makoto, he'll find another. Understanding Lucifer has no way to defend himself. When they go onto that tier 3 tower, though it is a little bit more challenging without your carry around. KP just going to pop the Primal Split, wants to get it done ASAP, and it certainly does feel a lot faster now. They might have time for the racks, and it doesn't seem like they're going to try for it. In fact, it looks like it's going to be too easy anyway. They aren't going to back off before they get that racks down. Rubido getting tornadoed up. They missed the bushwhack because of it, but they won't mind. They just want out.
Really good hit and run in the objectives, and UDV again, that looked like a really good fight. They jump Medusa first, drag her down, find that kill, but it takes too long. I think the ideal is actually to, again, jump Mikado first, as we've been seeing before, and then find Medusa. Because once they blew everything onto that Medusa, Mikado jumped in. He had BKB, he had a window to use it. He just stands in the middle, ignores a lot of their damage, and melts them through. And the chain control from Talon is really strong. UDV has that as well, but it's reliant on Lucifer surviving through, getting good use of his enchant totem and figure out.
AJ, that was a very aggressive blink, but he's got the BKB up, so he is going to be able to stick around for Q. Does get the Grimstroke down. Soulbind, it'll hold them down together. KP, he still has a Primal Split available, and eventually he is going to pop it as now. Rubido dropping too low. They might go for Ken straight after. In fact, they've got the stun down onto the Terrorblade, but they aren't going to focus on him. Instead, towards the south, they are going to find Teehee. And still Ken is being chased down by KP. They aren't going to finish off the TB, surprisingly enough. They'll leave the Terrorblade alone. Instead, they go back for the Roshan pit, but Roshan's still 35 seconds away.
Very fortunate for UDV. A little bit of a window for them to get some respawns going. Going to be very close for the DK respawn. They still don't have control of their top jungle. So contesting Roshan is a tough bet right now for UDV, and they've always got to be concerned of the shove-in on mid, as they are dealing with super creeps on melee. So a lot more favorable for Talon to leave that alone. Talon in a good position now, my 25-13, 11k lead. Savage starting to really drag ahead of Ken. It's been consistent, but now it's up to 6k in comparison to the Terrorblade. It does look like Savage is kind of set to just build up. BKB already, I believe, flying out. He does with the disassembly on the Dragonlance. So a very well-protected Medusa has the Lincolns as well to make sure that the Dragon Field stun at least doesn't lock in, or the Mystic Flare won't go through. Or I mean, the Ancient Seal, so Magic Amp isn't there. Bursting down Savage is a tall order now. Roche, not the quickest, but UDV, again, they just don't have map control to kind of go into that pit anyway.
Now Roshan not going to take very long. Give everything over to Aegis Chance. All of them are going to go the way of Savage. Makoto gets nothing. Poor guy even dropped his items expecting something. No Aegis for you, Makoto. Now bot lane, bit of a wraparound here from Talon as they are going to show up. JG does blink away, but he might get caught as Makoto going to zip right through, and he gets the Vortex into the Bushwhack, into the Sharpshooter. JG does still BKB up and try for the TP away. He might just make it as well. Very nice play from JG. to be able to get out without dying. You can't really afford to lose anyone right now because you know Talon are trying to go high ground with this Aegis.
They've got that window open for them now if they do want to try 2 lives up on Savage. Can be really hard to eat through. Working on to the Ags next. So really handling this Deuce is just going to be a really tough prospect. You've got the Shard already up. Once the Ags is up, you're going to be Stone Form in the middle of these engagements. Really easy to bounce that back onto the Skywrath. KP already, again, with the A on disc, still hasn't been popped as well. That's a lot of opportunities to just jump in, beat a big body for the team, get the split off. And Talon can just focus on the tier 2 bot. So clear out the last outer tower of UDV, focus onto the high ground. UDV again, their high ground's pretty good. They've got Slam, they've got Sonic Wave, Mystic Flare can be nice, Dragon Tail combination still pretty strong, but they have to be the ones to initiate first. They can't afford to allow Talon to jump in with Mikado first. They need to get the Dragon Tail Mystic Flare combination. They need to get the numbers advantage that way with their burst damage.
Big wrap around here. UDV gonna try and find an advantage in this team fight. KP gonna find Teehee immediately, but a nice fish to lock him away on the right side. Who have they got? Soulbind already locking 2 down. They popped their BKBs. They're just trying to go after the Grimstroke, but it looks like they're trapped up now. JB, he's gonna be able to blink away, but I can't say the same for Rupido. They've lost the Dragon Knight. Hell, they've even got the Dark Portrait of the DK form, and now they've got Ken. He'll be able to man to walk away. It's still looking like a very rough defense though. Makoto heals in through the side. Find the Skywrath. Echo committed by Lucifer, but it's only on 1 target. Talon, they are not giving the opportunities away. And into that, they go high ground.
As long as I
Forced the buyback out from Lucifer as well, but he doesn't have Slam, so they're just reliant on him for the stuns.
They go again. Savage, he's taking a lot of damage, but it looks like he might just sacrifice the Aegis at this point. Ken, though, gonna get mounted up. Makoto, he'll rip right through. They've got the blade without Sunder to come out. He's down without buyback available either. That might just be it.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Yep.
I mean, how do you defend without your TB?
It's tough. Without the TB, without the QOP, no buyback as well. Just 2 supports plus the DK. This is a big opening for Talon. You can already see KP focusing on tier 4s. And they are going back for the mid creeps, though. Savage not quite going in the all-in. I think they expected buybacks to be ready, but not quite.
Well, they might find KP here, and it looks like they just have. He's down for 90 seconds. A nice pick off. This Tamikoto going to move in onto Teehee in the backside. Even Lucifer getting slowed up here. A bushwhack. Actually not going to be able to catch him. Hide. Not going to land the sharpshooter either on Lucifer. They are just trying to focus on defending this top lane of Rax. Taking down that Aegis of Savage, but it doesn't seem like he's too concerned about having a bit of a reset going on here on that Medusa. If they focus down onto the Megas, they'll eventually find it, no problems. Makoto, though, jumping back in onto Teehee, onto the Dragon Knight. They want everything, and they might just get it. GG.
Oh boy. That was a really great game coming out from Talon, but also from UDV. They played their early game really well. They apply pressure onto Mikado. They get those solo pickoffs that need.